This section will introduce you to the various ways data is stored and utilised inside our computing devices. Topics will include binary, hexadecimal, ASCII, Unicode, integers, real numbers, textual data, images and video. Examples for each will be given and explained. People worldwide have standardised on the decimal number system. Today's computers have standardised on the binary number system. We're going to explore these two topics in this video. My name is Tim Bachalka from the Learn Programming Academy. This is my Learn to Code series here on YouTube. Counting is a basic concept in society today. We all count. How many players are on the playing field at one time for a baseball team? How many classes are you taking right now? How many months left in this calendar year? Etc. Our answers utilise the decimal number system, 9, 2 and 5 for example. Most of us learned the decimal number system, also known as base 10, when we were very young. The decimal number system has 10 digits to represent any number. As you know, these digits are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. To represent any number, we use a combination of these digits. For example, 439 is expressed in decimal notation by using a 4, a 3 and a 9, 439. Each position in any notation, including the decimal notation, is associated with a quantity. In our 439 example, the 9 is the position associated with the quantity 1, the 3 is the position associated with the quantity 10, and the 4 is the position associated with the quantity 100. To find the value of the entire 439 expression, we multiply the value of each digit by the quantity associated with that digit's position, and then add the resulting products together. For example, 4 times 100 plus 3 times 10 plus 9 times 1 equals 439. To summarise, in the decimal number system, the rightmost position is the quantity of 1. Moving one position to the left, the quantity is 10. Moving one more position to the left, the quantity is 100. One more to the left, the quantity is 1,000, then 10,000, 100,000, and so on. You and I probably do this every day, but we rarely look at the mechanics behind the numbering system we're using. We simply take it for granted. Computers perform all its operations in binary, also known as base 2, and stores its data in binary no matter what storage device is being used. However, an app or a program can then convert or show the manipulation of the data in any format needed, including decimal. The computer is using binary behind the scenes, and you're insulated from that and don't actually have to work in binary yourself unless you really want to. As someone who did a lot of work in binary, or more correctly machine code, back in the early 80s when I started out, not having to deal with binary very much yourself is a wonderful thing. Just to be clear though, before I go on any further, you don't have to program or use binary in this course. And it will be relatively rare that you will ever need to use it when or if you're programming. Knowing that a computer system uses binary will, in my opinion, make you a better programmer and consumer because you know what's happening under the hood. Rather than the computer being a magic box, you'll understand what the computer is doing. Alright, so now on to a brief discussion of the binary number system. In the binary number system, there's only 2 digits available, 0 and a 1. Now this is perfect for our digital computing devices, as a digital signal is in one of 2 states, either a 0 or a 1, or in other terms, a yes or a no, a true or a false, an on or an off, open or closed, positive or negative, etc. The computer simply cannot store 439 as a decimal number, and so it converts it to a binary number that represents decimal 439. In this case, that would be 110110111. Each decimal position moving from right to left is an order of magnitude or power larger, for example 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 100,000, etc. for the decimal system. But in the binary system, the order of magnitude is a power of 2 rather than a power of 10. For example, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, etc. It's interesting that we use the decimal number system to show you the binary position values. To find the value of the entire 439 expression using the binary number system, 1101101111, we multiply the value of each digit, 0 or 1, by the quantity associated with that digit's position. We then add the resulting products together. For example, 1 times 256 plus 1 times 128 plus 0 times 64 plus 1 times 32 plus 1 times 16 plus 0 times 8 plus 1 times 4 plus 1 times 2 plus 1 times 1 equals 439. Keep in mind that you and I might type decimal 439 on our keyboard and it'll show on the display monitor decimal 439, but inside the computer it's encoded into binary 11011011 for manipulation and storage. Only when it's needed for display or printout to humans is it converted back to decimal 439. One final thought about binary: each digital position is considered a bit, which is short for binary digit. Computers group 8 bits together and call those a byte. The largest number that a byte can represent is 255. Calculate this by adding the decimal equivalent for each bit moving left to right. 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 equals 255. This decimal number is not very large, so computers group more 8-bit values together. For example, 32 bits or 4 bytes, 4 groups times 8 bits equals 32, and then the largest decimal value that all these 32 bits can represent, assuming each bit position is a 1 not a 0, would be greater than 2 billion. Before going on to the next video, I suggest you try to convert a few decimal numbers into binary and check your results with this slide. Perhaps pause the video right now as you try this using paper and pencil and have some fun. Alrighty, so I hope you had some fun with the binary challenge and that your results matched what you saw on the slide. If not, perhaps a review of this video would be helpful. Moving on to the next video, I'll introduce some other data representation schemes, namely hexadecimal, ASCII and Unicode. See you in the next video. Thanks as always for watching. Alrighty, this is the part of the video where I'm meant to get all enthusiastic and to ask you, or quite literally beg you, to subscribe to my channel and to like the video, leave a comment and all that stuff. Well, I'm going to leave that decision in your capable hands to decide whether I've earned a like or a subscribe or a comment. I'd be grateful if you do one, both or all three. My videos will get out there and in front of a bigger audience if I get that level of engagement, but obviously it's your choice. Alright, so remember that this series was meant to be watched in order, so if you haven't watched from the start, then how dare you watch my video series out of order? Click the link over here to get to the first video in the series and watch that if you want to see the entire series in order. Or come over here and click to view the previous video in the series. Again, your choice. Alright, I'm done. Catch you in the next video.